there was never a season in the year when we had nothing to eat out of the garden, or, it had been produced in the garden. I used to pick the apples and wrap them up in newspaper and put them in yon end, as he called it, the other end of the house, that hadn't been sort of... I think that was 3 houses at one time, and the first 2, which were on the left as you're looking at it, we lived in, and the other end was what he called yon end, and that was his little hidey hole, if you like. At yon end, that was that was such a lovely smell in there, because he used to have a fire in the grate, and he'd saw up wood and stuff in there, and the smell of sort of freshly cut wood, and that had a smell of its own in there. And I used to go down there and sit with him, and we used to, I don't know, mess about doing things, Used to have a go at doing some whittling, and I used to help him to do his tobacco, because he grew, I don't know where he got the seeds from, that's before rules are so strict now, aren't they?
Yeah.
But he got the seeds, and he grew his own tobacco, and then I'd help him to pick leaves, and he used to say, don't you touch your eyes, girl. I think some of the pictures that he had took were at yon end, where he was sitting out on a chair doing the jig doll.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that sort of thing, probably playing... No, the violin was in the living room, that's right, because I remember his tobacco...
Oh, it's alright, don't worry.
I remember his tobacco jar sitting on the mantelpiece that he used to have. Same with the jig doll, really, the original one. I have got a copy. My daughter had me one done for birthday once. I got the jig doll and the board. Some man in Kent made it for her.
Oh, so you've not got one of Harry's dolls then?
No, the original one was painted in dark green gloss.
Because that's what he had.
Yeah, that's what he had in the yon end.
How would you describe how he looked?
Well, he used to wear, I'll start at the top, his cap obviously, then he'd have a collarless shirt on, and he had them made at a place called Sparlands in North Walsham. It's long since gone, I guess.
Yeah.
And they'd come in brown paper packaging. And then he'd wear a gansey, as he used to call it, which was like a almost roll neck knitted jumper in sort of a navy colour. Then he'd have a slop over the top of that.
Yeah.
And then he'd have a sort of tweedy type coat when it was really cold. Usually with the pockets bulging, because there was all sorts in there, like bits of string and you name it that was in there.
Is this stuff that he found out and about, or stuff that he got to be prepared?
Stuff that he had in case of an emergency, I think that's what it was.
And what would a Harry emergency consist of, do you think?
Well, I don't know, if something had broken, or, like perhaps the head had come off his, I can't remember what you call it now, mower,
Oh, yeah.
He'd probably have to mend up with a bit of string or something. And then going back to clothes, and he used to wear sort of tweedy trousers that were flap fronted, so they didn't actually have flies like the trousers do these days, but he had them made as well, because that's how he liked his trousers.
So proper gent.
Yeah. Proper wool socks, nothing else. And he used to wear either they looked like cut off Wellington boots, excuse me, or they were sometimes rubber type short boots, but they laced up.
Okay.
They were his sort of best ones. He was really, really broad Norfolk. I doubt whether if he came back now, I don't think my children would know what he was saying. It was like alternate names for everything, like what we call a dyke or a ditch, he'd call a hall. Stuff like that. That was all like, he just wouldn't even associate some of the things that he'd say with what he was talking about, if it makes sense.
Yeah,
he used to say a lot of old squit. He used to come out with all all sorts of things. He used to make songs up about things.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, there was a big hedgerow that had been taken down opposite Sunnyside, down that little road opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this man who used to come along on a bike, and he'd take a bit of wood, every time he went. And this chap's name was Jock, and he used to say, "Come on, Jock, call your block." He used to make mainly frail baskets because in those days they used them to take their lunch and bottles of tea to work.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the skeps that he used to do for the firewood. You'd have near the fireplace with all your logs in. He was just... I think his favourite thing really was whittling, as he called it.
Well, it's the kind of things that he used to make. I know he made his jig dolls, but he
Yeah,
could make other things as well.
And he made various things really, but he used to make me laugh because he'd disappear off with a piece of wood that looked like nothing, and that'd come back looking like something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
He was interested in clocks. I used to help him to mend clocks. He had American wall clocks. He used to hate it when the really professional ones used to come around the house to do recordings because he had to stop his clocks.
Oh no. Well, you can hear the clock on Sheila's recordings, but I quite like it because it adds to the feeling of being in the room with him.
Yeah.
Right, that's all yours, Harry.
From all you bold sportsmen and carry a gun, I will have you go home by the light of the sun. For young Jimmy was a Berlin, alone, when he touched his own true love in the room always gone. So the first three went so well and found it was she. He was shaking and trembling, his eyes scared to see. So never you are dead long, and your troubles are over. Very well, my dear Polly, I shall see you no more. Then home went young Gemma with the dog and his gun, saying, "Uncle, dear uncle, have you heard what I've done? Cursed be this old gunsmith that made me this gun, for I shot my own true love in the room of Lake One." What's it, did it go on?
Yeah, I'll let it on.
That's it. Wait.